Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The air on Outpost R-17 tasted like metal and recycled breath. Evan Cross noticed it every morning. Most people stopped noticing after a few months. The body learned to ignore the taste, the low hum of reactors buried deep in the rock, and the strange pressure of artificial gravity that never felt quite right. But Evan had learned something different during his years in uniform. If you stopped noticing your surroundings, that was when things went wrong. He finished tightening the last seal on his work suit and flexed his fingers. The joints complained, same as always. Outpost was built into a dead moon orbiting a gas giant no one bothered naming. It existed for one reason only, mining rare elements that powered ships and cities far away from here. Humans did the dirty work. They always did. Evan stepped out of the locker room into the long corridor that led toward the mining lifts. The lights flickered slightly, just enough to remind everyone that this place was old. Too old. Held together by maintenance crews that worked long shifts and asked for nothing but sleep at the end of the day. A group of alien technicians passed him, tall and thin, their skin a dull blue-gray. They nodded politely but did not slow. To them, Evan was background noise, a uniform, a tool. He was used to it. Outpost was technically a coalition facility run by multiple species, but everyone knew the truth. Humans were stationed on the edges, the quiet places, the places no one cared about unless something went wrong. And nothing ever went wrong here. That was what Command said. The mining shift ended without incident. Evan logged reports, checked sensor readouts, and signed off on maintenance schedules. Routine, boring, safe. He was unsealing his suit back in the locker room when the station alarm chimed. Not the loud one. The formal one. A soft tone echoed through the corridors, followed by an automated voice. Attention all personnel. A diplomatic inspection is in progress. Maintain protocol. Evan froze. Diplomatic inspections did not happen on Outpost R-17. He glanced at the clock on the wall. No notice, no warning, that alone was wrong. He grabbed his shirt and pulled it over his head, still damp from sweat, when he heard footsteps behind him. Not heavy boots. Measured, controlled, more than one person. Evan turned. The locker room door slid open, and several figures entered. Alien guards, tall and armored, weapons locked to their sides. Between them walked a woman. She was not human. Her skin was pale silver, smooth and almost luminous under the harsh lights. Her eyes were dark, deep, and focused in a way that made Evan straighten without thinking. She wore formal coalition attire layered with a military-style jacket, a clear sign of status. In power, one of the guards began speaking to the station commander. Envoy Saris, this section is restricted. Her gaze drifted. It landed on Evan. Time slowed. Evan realized too late that his shirt was only halfway down his back. The fabric slipped, exposing old scars. And the mark. The envoy stopped walking. The guards tensed. The station commander fell silent. The room filled with a pressure Evan recognized from combat zones. That moment before something broke. The envoy stared at his back, at the burned symbol etched into his skin. Her breath caught. "No," she whispered. Evan turned fully, pulling the shirt into place, confused and suddenly very aware that every eye in the room was on him. Sorry, ma'am, I didn't know." She raised a hand. Everyone froze. "Where?" she said slowly, her voice trembling despite obvious effort to control it. "Did you get that mark?" The room went dead silent. Evan swallowed. "It's from my unit, old mission." Her eyes did not leave him. "What mission?" Evan hesitated. That hesitation told her everything. She stepped closer. Close enough that Evan could see something raw behind her composure, not anger. Recognition. That symbol, she said quietly, was burned into the walls of a dying station. Evan felt a chill crawl up his spine. The station commander cleared his throat. "Envoy, perhaps we should." "Clear the room," she said. The commander blinked. "Envoy." That was not a request. The guards hesitated, then obeyed. One by one they filed out, sealing the door behind them. Evan stood alone with her in the locker room, the hum of the station suddenly very loud. She exhaled slowly. "I was told no human survived," she said. Evan frowned. "Survived what?" She looked at him directly. "The evacuation of Haven Station 12. The name hit him like a punch. Haven 12. Official designation scrubbed from records. Unofficially known among the survivors as the last stand. Evan closed his eyes for a moment. "I was there," he said. Her hands shook. "I knew it," she whispered. They moved to a small conference room nearby, bare metal walls, a single table, emergency lights casting everything in pale blue. The envoy sat across from Evan, posture stiff, eyes never leaving his face. "My name is Saris," she said. "I was a civilian advisor at Haven 12. When it fell, I was trapped with hundreds of others." Evan nodded slowly. "We were told to extract non-human VIPs," he said. "We were not told who." Saris laughed bitterly. "You were sent to die." "That's not new," Evan replied calmly. She stared at him. "Command labeled the operation a partial success," she said. "Minimal acceptable losses." Evan leaned back in his chair. 13 humans went in," he said. 4 came out. Saris's breath hitched. "They erased you," she said. "Your names, your records. The coalition buried the operation to avoid political fallout." "They usually do," Evan said. "You saved over 800 people." Evan shrugged. "That wasn't in the report." Silence stretched between them. Outside the room, Outpost continued its routine. Machines ran. Miners worked. Life went on, unaware that history had just resurfaced in a forgotten corner of space. Saris leaned forward. "I have spent 6 years trying to find proof you existed," she said. "And now I find you changing out of a work suit on a mining moon." Evan almost smiled. "Welcome to humanity," he said. Before she could respond, the station alarm screamed. This time, it was the loud one. Red lights flashed. Unidentified objects detected. All personnel to alert stations. Evan stood instantly. "That's not debris," he said. Saris looked at him sharply. "You're certain?" "I've seen this before." He moved toward the door, already pulling on his jacket. "What do you do now?" she asked. Evan paused. "What humans always do," he said. "We stand where we're needed." The tactical display in the command center lit up with red markers. Too organized. Too deliberate. Ships without identification codes. The station commander was pale. "They're on an intercept course," he said. "Defense grid isn't meant for." "We don't have a choice," Evan said. Saris watched him quietly. "You're not running," she said. "No," Evan replied. "We already ran once. That ended with a station burning." He turned to the assembled human crew. "We hold the line," he said simply, "long enough for civilians to get safe." The humans nodded. No speeches. No cheers. Just resolve. Saris felt something tighten in her chest. She had believed the stories. She had lived because of them. And now she was watching them happen again. As the first hostile ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel, its weapons charging, Evan Cross placed his hand over the mark beneath his shirt. The mark they tried to erase. And prepared to remind the galaxy why they never should have. The first shot struck the outer defense ring of Outpost R-17 like a hammer to glass. Alarms screamed as the station shuddered. Bulkheads sealed automatically, locking down entire sections to prevent decompression. The red tactical lights flooded the command center, painting every face the same harsh color. Evan Cross stood at the main display, arms folded, eyes calm. 3 hostile ships. Unknown design. No identification codes. No warnings. They're testing us, Evan said, probing for weak points. The station commander swallowed. Our defense grid isn't rated for sustained combat. Evan nodded, then we don't fight fair. Sarah stood nearby, gripping the edge of a console. Every vibration of the station pulled memories out of her, screams, fire, metal tearing apart. Haven 12 all over again. But this time she was not helpless. Civilian evacuation, she asked. Already in progress, Evan replied. Humans started moving people the second the alarms hit. On the display, dozens of small signals detached from the station. Escape pods, shuttles, emergency craft. The miners, technicians, non-combat staff. The humans stayed behind. The hostile ships adjusted formation, spreading out. One charged its main weapon. They know, Saris whispered. They know this station matters. Evan glanced at her. Then they know where humans will be. The first breach came 20 minutes later. Boarding craft slammed into the lower maintenance ring, cutting through metal with precision. The attackers moved fast, tall, armored figures with weapons designed to burn through hull plating. They expected panic. They did not expect resistance. Human engineers collapsed corridors behind them, vented sections into space, and rerouted power manually. Old tricks, ugly tricks, effective ones. Evan led a response team through service tunnels never marked on coalition maps. Narrow, dark, and confusing. Perfect. Contact, one of the humans muttered. The first enemy rounded the corner. Evan fired once. The body fell. The humans did not cheer. They kept moving. Above them, the station shook again as a second hostile ship opened fire on the defense grid. Shields flickered. Saris watched from the command center, heart pounding. These aren't raiders, she said. They're disciplined. They remember us, the commander said quietly. Yes, Saris replied, and they're afraid. The realization stunned her. For years, humanity had been treated as expendable muscle, useful, replaceable, forgotten. But the enemy remembered. They remembered Haven 12. They remembered humans who refused to leave civilians behind. Evan's team reached the breach point. Smoke filled the corridor. The air smelled like burned metal and ozone. Hold here, Evan ordered. They want access to the reactor controls. We don't give it. The enemy charged. The fight was brutal and close. Human armor cracked. Enemy shields failed. Blood both colors floated in the low gravity. Evan took a hit to the shoulder and ignored it. He kept moving. Kept firing. Kept standing. Minutes stretched into hours. The station's outer defenses finally failed, but by then the evacuation was complete. Every civilian was gone. Only humans remained. In the command center, Saris made a decision. She stepped to the main broadcast console. Envoy, you can't, the commander began. I can, she said firmly. She activated the coalition-wide emergency channel. Her image filled screens across dozens of systems. This is Envoy Saris of the Coalition, she said. I am issuing a verified historical correction. Behind her, data files unlocked. Footage. Records. Survivor testimonies. The evacuation of Haven Station 12 was not a partial success, she continued. It was a human sacrifice. Images played. Humans carrying alien children holding doors, fighting impossible odds. 13 humans entered, 4 survived, over 800 civilians lived. Across the galaxy, silence spread. Those humans were erased to preserve political comfort, Sarah said, her voice steady but burning. That erasure ends today. The enemy fleet hesitated. Communications spiked. Allies watching. History catching up. On the battlefield, Evan's comm unit crackled. Cross, a voice said, they're pulling back. Evan leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Of course they are, he muttered. Cowards always leave when the truth shows up. The final hostile ship fired one last shot, wild, desperate, then jumped away. Outpost was broken, but it still stood. After the battle, silence settled over the station like dust. Medical teams moved quietly, repairs began, names were recorded. Saris walked through the damaged corridors until she found Evan sitting alone near the viewport, staring out at the gas giant below. You should be resting, she said. So should the station, he replied. Looks like neither of us got the memo. She smiled faintly. They will remember now, she said, all of them. Evan nodded, good. She hesitated, what happens to you? He thought about it. I stay, he said. Someone has to keep quiet places safe. Saris placed a small crystal marker on the table between them. The same symbol burned into his back. Human lives will never be listed as acceptable losses again, she said. Evan looked at the symbol. About time. Weeks later, a memorial was built into Outpost R-17. Names carved. Not ranks. Not numbers. Names. Across the galaxy, the story spread. Not of conquest. Not of domination. But of humans who stood when it mattered. The mark they tried to erase became something else. A reminder. A warning. And a promise. Humanity did not need to be remembered. They only needed to refuse to disappear. The end.